Hello, all, and welcome to the Leader's Voice series. I am Deepa, a leadership coach and a facilitator, and I'm here to share with you yet another series of how inner mastery leads to energy mastery and therefore performance mastery. This episode and this series have started so that we can amplify the voices of leaders who are working in the real world, in the corporate world, and yet give attention and time to master their inner self. So, today, on today's episode, we have Saurabh Oak with us. Saurabh, welcome.
Thank you, Deepa.
Yeah. To share a bit about Saurabh. So, Saurabh has been working in the financial industry for the last 16 years. He's currently managing transformation projects for an investment bank. He's managing a global team across Mumbai, Bangalore, and UK. Saurabh is also part of the alumni association of his MBA college in Mumbai. He's passionate about community building, skill enhancement, and project management. Saurabh is an agile certified practitioner and is an agile enthusiast. He has done his MBA in finance from Mumbai and has a commerce degree in his education. His life's mantra is learn, master, teach, and move on. Lovely, Saurabh. Somebody had told me that you learn best when you teach. And as much as I resisted teaching, life came around and I had to teach. And I really learned what my teacher had once told was so true. So thank you for being on this show. And we surely want to hear your voice of how you practice inner mastery in order to stay balanced and do your job effectively well. So, to start with, we would like to know a little bit about your life as a person and as a professional.
Perfect. First of all, I would like to thank you for the session and would like to welcome all the listeners.
Thank
Uh, I wish we had a similar podcast when I was young and when I was starting my career, right? Because these are the voices that you want to hear because you get a lot of learnings. Now, you have already given a brief introduction about me, but I will just elaborate on the life mantra, right? So, learn, master, teach, and move on. Now, if you see, these are like four spokes of any particular wheel, right? Uh, it can be applied to any skills, it can be applied to your job, it can be applied to any position or whatever you want to do. It can be a certification as well, right? First step is to always learn. And when we say learn, you have to start from the basic. You cannot really go to one level above, right? You start with absolute basic. Once you start doing your basic, then you start mastering the skills or whatever you want to do. So again, there are no shortcuts, right? Whatever time is required, you are going to take that. But once you master, then people say that I'm in a comfort zone or I don't really want to do this because I'm enjoying it. But I think what is necessary is after that you need to give the knowledge to somebody else also, and you need to create that mesh around you that everybody is kind of master. And when I talk about community building, that is one of the most important aspect because we learn from each other. We are social creatures, right? So we learn by seeing, we learn by hearing, we learn by experiences and our values and thought processes, right? So we need to teach the skills or whatever is the experience that we have. And the next one is, once you have done that, once you think the 3 weeks are complete, after that you can go to the next one, which is to move on. When I say move on, what do I mean by that is you start looking at the new skill, or you start looking at the new position, or it can be a new company or a new profile that you are interested in, right? So before you complete the three spokes, you should not go to the fourth spoke. But it is important that circle is complete, and it is only complete when you move on and learn something else.
Yes,
When you move on to something that is new, you again start fresh. So you basically experience all the four seasons, right? Or
correct,
all the four spokes of the wheel once again.
correct, correct. Absolutely. So true. I think these are very basics which we often forget, and people like you come and remind it. It just becomes so fresh. As you're speaking, I'm going back to things that I have done in my life, and currently what I'm teaching in different spaces. This is exactly the principle I followed. And for me, I have not yet moved on because for me, moving on is about going deep, not moving on to something else, but going to the next level of understanding. So it's deepening mastery, then teaching, and then moving in depth. So, yeah, because I am a depth person and not a width person.
Right.
So, yeah, very true. So beautiful. In fact, Saurabh, just now when we were connecting and I asked you, so Saturday you don't work, and you said I spend time with my, children, and that was quite something for me, So I think I would like to know, how do you spend your weekends, Other days you're busy, and you said your work entails working with people in UK, so your timings are different. So how do you balance your life?
So I think everybody will talk about work-life balance, but when it comes to execution, you need to be very, very particular about it.
Yeah.
And when I say work-life balance, that doesn't always mean that leaders can take a day off. Everybody in your team should be entitled to that. So the person who is in the grassroots level to the person who is actually managing the company, everybody is entitled to that because they all deal with a lot of pressure and a lot of anxiety during their working hours. What is also important is you spend time with your family, with your children, because once they grow up, then probably you'll miss all those days. And currently, they are looking for your guidance and support as well.
Yeah.
So you can be, managing a team, a big team, and you're telling everybody, guiding everybody, coaching everybody. But when it comes to your own kids,
True.
sometimes that skill set is missing or that guidance is not there. So I think it is very important that you can work for 5 days or 6 days a week, basis the company requirement. But then you take some time off for yourself, for your children, for your hobbies as well. For example, you like to play cricket, you like to play badminton, just go and do it because
Yes.
once the time is gone, you are not able to follow your hobbies.
Yes.
So I think Saturday, Sunday, or the weekends, or any of the holidays that you get, I think you should be spending that on yourself.
And that's what you do.
Absolutely.
So which
So
hobby do you pursue?
oh, it's a very tricky question. I like to follow all the sports.
Oh,
If you talk about playing, I'm not really good at it, but in terms of talking, I can talk about sports all day. And I follow a lot of sports, so not only to traditional cricket and football, but I do follow Wimbledon. I've been on Wimbledon center court as well to watch the finals. So I follow a lot of motorsports as well. So
wow.
big fan of
Wow.
sports, and apart from that I like to read about the new technologies that are emerging, what is happening with the world in terms of getting new things and AI and ML, etc. So
Hmm.
that is one of the hobbies which I like to pursue on weekends.
Very nice. So right now the Olympics fever has caught you?
Somewhat, yes. Again, sometimes it is very difficult to watch a live game or a match when you are in office. But luckily now we have the technology that everything is condensed to bite-sized pieces.
Yeah.
So you can watch highlights
Yeah.
when you're getting off work and you're traveling back
Yeah.
home. So
Yeah.
all those two,
Yeah.
3 minute
That's true.
highlights, they are very, very useful.
Yeah, yeah. Interesting you say this, Saurabh, because I've heard so many leaders saying, I don't have time. This myth, I mean, as for me, it's a myth. But when I was working, I said that too. So this myth of a time constraint, I don't have time for this. I don't have time to wake up in the morning. I don't have time to watch anything. I don't have time to go for a movie. I don't have time to play with my children. Is very very prevalent, and it's on the rise. So I know of leaders who say, I wish I had more than 24 hours a day. And what would you do? Work more. So, what are your comments and thoughts? You would be also experiencing, this energy around. What are your thoughts? Why is this happening, and what are your suggestions?
So again, Sam, I am 100% with you that it is a myth. You will always find time. So if you try to map your day, 24 hours in a day, you would probably spend around 8 hours when you're taking rest or sleeping, right? So your one third time is gone. Probably the one third or more than that would go when you're working. So you get only the remaining time for your travel, for your hobbies, for your family, right? Now, we always say that no, we have lots of work and work is never ending, but
Yeah.
we still have 24 hours, right? We are not going to go to 25, 26 hours. It is always going to remain on 24. So what we need to do is make sure that the other 8 hours are not getting impacted. Now, sometimes it is done to make everybody feel like we are very busy or no, we are occupied and we have lots of work. Sometimes you have to put your foot down and say that no, I have done what is required of me, and then again, what is not important or something which I can do the next day, or I need to spend time with family, I'll not compromise on that. And why that is important is because you're setting up good standards. Now, luckily, during my career, I had some of the managers who used to tell me that, no, your time is done. Why are you sitting here? Usually, you don't hear that. You hear the
Yeah.
opposite. That why are you leaving, even though
Yeah.
you're
Yeah.
leaving
Yeah.
on time, right? People will ask you, is it half day? Why are you leaving early?
Correct.
Right? But I had managers who would say that no, your time is done. What is pending, and why are you sitting here? And I used to always say that no, this is very important. Somebody has called me and said it is very critical. I need to complete that today. So that time when I started my career, my manager used to ask me, "What will happen if you don't do this? Will it close the bank? Will it be incurring financial penalties? What is it all about?" So then you start to think that no, everyone will say that their work is important. I'm not denying or not advising anybody to
Correct.
go with
Correct.
that,
Correct.
but it
Totally.
is basically you have to rationalize that and make sure that other priorities are also important.
Yeah. Correct.
Luckily, I had those leaders in
Role
my career,
models.
yeah, role models to guide me and show me the way, right? And
Correct.
I
Correct.
think we are all like sponges, right? We absorb a lot of things from
Yeah.
our seniors, from our team
Yeah.
members.
Yeah.
So, as I said, we are social creatures, right? So
Yes.
we can
Yes.
define what is good and what is bad.
Yeah. Yes.
All the
Yes.
good or model behaviors, we want to basically inculcate that, and all the bad behaviors, you want
Yeah.
to break that.
Correct.
So you have a map or a plan in your mind that, oh, somebody has treated me in a particular way which I did not like. Some when I was leaving one time, somebody said, "Why are you going half day?" I did not like that. So that is a trigger for you to understand that you should not be saying such things when you become a boss, right? Because you did not like it when somebody said such
Correct.
things to you.
Correct.
So I think that is a trigger point, and once you start accumulating all these experiences, it becomes like a
Yeah.
complete book of the
Yeah.
model
Yeah.
behavior, right? And
Exactly.
then that is how I think you are ready to lead or move on to your leadership journey, where
Yes. Yes.
you would set some ground rules and say
Yes.
that your time is done, please go home. If you're
Yes.
not feeling well,
Yes.
take a sick day, because
Yes.
I know everybody
Yes.
can fall sick, and in that case, something is urgent. They would definitely work on it,
Yes.
but
Yes.
not in. I mean, health
Yeah.
is also important.
Yeah.
Family is also important.
Correct.
So
Correct.
you don't have to compromise on anything.
Correct. Correct. In fact, when I hear you, it almost feels like can you treat yourself and your team with empathy and understanding and sensitivity, which is so rare. And why I say that is because growing up we are paid and acknowledged for our thinking. We have our head above our shoulders, and that's what pays us. But lately I've seen so many people talk about empathy and so many empathy workshops, etc. But workshops apni jagah pe hai. Is empathy in action, and what you really shared was empathy in action. What are your views on, as a leader, cultivating and practicing empathy? How does it impact your team positively and therefore results?
So I think you can learn all the skills. You can learn how to manage the work. You can learn how to guide or coach somebody, right? But I would say what is need of the hour is empathy and active listening. Active
Very true.
listening, because there are a lot of cues which your team would give you, and you
Yes.
need to pick that up. It
Yes.
may not always be verbal. It can be through their body language or a tone in their email or on the phone, right? So
Correct.
you need to pick it up very quickly, because earlier the better, right? Because you can
Correct.
work on that. You can try to know what are obstacles are in their way. You can try to correct that. Empathy is another important thing because you need to understand what is the root cause, because until you understand that and you put yourself in that person's shoes, right, it is very difficult to understand the situation. Now, again, I had certain leaders in the past who practice that. There is no coaching class for empathy, or there's no certain program that you can enroll into and you learn. It is through your experiences. It is through the way your bosses have behaved with you, or you want to behave with your teams, right? So I still remember when I was very fresh in my career. Uh, my boss, as I said, was very encouraging. He was always displaying the model behaviors, and I used to always tell him that no, I want to work for you because I enjoy the way you handle your team. And empathy was one of the qualities or traits that he always would possess, right? So I remember there was a time when one of my close friend was getting married, and I wanted to take a leave, but
Okay.
I also knew it was a month end time, and month end means there's a lot of deliverables, and everybody was busy in their work. Uh, on the day, I got a few messages from my colleagues saying that somebody's not well and won't be able to come. Another person also sent a similar message that, so from team of eight we were down to team of six. Now that got me thinking that no, I nobody is going to give me leave
Correct.
because of friend's wedding, right? Because if you're not well, okay, you can get a leave, but not definitely for your friend's wedding. And
Very.
I was kind of thinking, contemplating as to what should be done in such case. And I remember I called my manager, and I was fumbling a lot. I was tripping up on my own words. And I said, you know what? I'm not feeling very well today. So can I take a day off? I know two people are out. So he actually said, can I give you a call back in 2 minutes? He did give me a call back, and he said, I just came into a meeting room. Can you tell me what is the real reason? So I was so taken aback that how would he know about this?
Yeah.
He said, I've managed a lot of teams and I know you as a person. So you can be very honest about it and you can tell me what is the difficulty. And I told him that no, the issue was that I definitely don't want to miss the work or put my work on others. I know two people are out, but it's my best friend's wedding, which I cannot really miss. So he asked me, when do you want to leave? So I said, no, I can stretch till 7 p.m. But after that, I definitely would like to leave and attend the reception. So he said, that is fine. You could have told me that. I will never say no to you. I came in early that day. I completed my work, and he promised and he made sure that I leave by 7.
Wow.
And again, I could go and attend my friend's wedding. After that, I don't recollect that I was anytime giving excuses to him. In fact, when I got a call from another company for interview, he was the first person that I reached out to. That no, this company is reaching out, and what do you think should I do? And he actually gave me advice that no, check about the profile, check about who the bosses are, what is the team structure, what is the goals that are put in front of you, what is the development goal that you want to place. So all these things are very critical, and it only comes through empathy. So once you put yourself in the other person's shoes, you would understand the problems, the issues, the challenges,
Exactly,
right?
exactly, exactly.
So
And he was deeply listening because you said you fumbled. I think he would have picked up on that as well.
absolutely. And these are, as I said, small cues
Yeah.
that you need to really pick
Yes.
up.
Yes.
Now, again, you can be making excuses, or you can just put
Yes.
point blank whatever is the issue
Yes.
problem. It
Yes.
makes very
Yes.
easy for
Yes.
managers to resolve.
Correct. Correct.
Only thing that is required is there should be open mind and there should be willingness to clear the
Yeah.
obstacles.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Very true, actually. There's this the other thing that I'm seeing prevalent in leaders today is this whole thing of not being able to disconnect. Even when you go home, continuously there are thoughts going on. leading to anxiety. Can I do it? Am I good enough? Will I be able to do it? And therefore there's just so much fatigue, burnout. I'm not sure if you have experienced that, because I think you switch off. You are
Yeah.
able to do that transition. But what could be the reason that it's so high these days, that so much of a burnout you can see happening?
So burnout is definitely real, right? Because if you're driving a car, once you go home, you switch off the engine, right? You don't
Hmm.
keep the engine
Hmm.
running
Hmm.
for entire
Correct.
night.
Exactly.
So you need to give some rest to your mind. Now it is easier said than done because
Hmm.
you always will have preoccupied thoughts, the targets that you want to hit, next day what you want to achieve, after a month what you want to achieve. I need to pay the school fees. I need to do the groceries. So all these things will always be in your mind. It is how you control your mind, right? So
Yeah.
it's very easy said than done, but you need to take a step and make sure that when you're sleeping very peacefully,
Hmm.
because that is the time when your mind is recovering
Yeah.
from
Yeah.
whatever is being thrown
Yes.
at it.
Yes. Yes.
And there are a lot of anxieties, there are a lot of things that you hold back on, and a lot of thoughts and experiences that you go
Yes.
through every day. So I think it is very important that you take a step back, and once you are relaxing or taking some time off, you be with your family. You just don't think about your work, career, because I think that kind of rest is very, very important. And
Yeah.
as we are discussing about the mastery, right, the self mastery, I think that is
Yes.
very, very critical part of it, that your mind needs to be very clear. Because say you have a room full of furniture, right, then you cannot really add another table, another chair, because the room is already
Correct.
full.
Correct.
So you need to put something away,
Away.
make
Yeah.
the room vacant, and then you can again put all the
Yes.
furniture in.
Yes. Yes.
So that is your time
Absolutely.
that
Yeah.
you need to be with yourself, and
Yeah.
not really think
Yeah.
ahead of time, not
Yeah.
really thinking about your
Yeah.
goals, your objectives, your career, and take some time off for yourself.
Yeah. Yeah. Unfortunately, that is what I think is the difficulty. That if I keep those thoughts away, then I'll not reach my goal. So this result orientation is so high that the struggle is to disconnect. Do you have any practices? What are your practices to disconnect?
So again, I would preach about, no, you need to put all your mobile phones away, and no, disconnect from the world entirely. I would say celebrate small victories, right? Don't go for a big bang, don't go for Olympic gold medal, but
Mhm.
celebrate small successes here and there. So it can be a 10-minute play with your son or your daughter. It
Yeah,
can
yeah,
be just unwinding, watching news, watching stock market, whatever you like to do, right? Those 10 minutes or 15 minutes will also act as very, very important, because that time you're not really thinking about your work or know your goals, your achievements, etc. So you basically are unwinding, your mind is getting clear, and then you can move on to the next one. So
yes.
people will always do that. They'll have some quiet time or alone time. So I have seen many leaders that during their lunch time or their tea time, they like to be alone. They don't
Mm.
really go and speak with anybody, because
Yeah,
that is the time when they're unwinding. They
yeah,
are making sure their mind is clear, so
yeah,
that they
yeah, yeah,
can
yeah,
again put a lot of things and experiences and
yeah,
lot of direction to their teams. So it is very important that you take a step back, just be yourself for some time, and then again start afresh.
yeah. I've seen that too. People take a walk after their lunch.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, so you're saying that silence time with yourself, do any physical activity or even play with your children, and just cut off from whatever is the train of thought. It would be, good practices
Yeah.
for them to indulge in.
So the other thing that we would like to do as our team, again, these are my personal views, not
Yeah.
views of my company,
Yeah,
but
yeah, of course.
what we like to do is all the meetings that we have, right? Sometimes your meeting gets extended by 30 minutes, 45 minutes, 1 hour. So there are times that out of 9 hours, 6 hours you're on calls, right? So it is very important to make your meetings smart as well. We have made everything smart. Our phones are smart, TVs are smart. Then why not our meetings, right?
Mm.
So make sure that you start your meeting 5 minutes late or end 5 minutes early.
Mm.
Give some time to other person as well, so that they can take a break, walk to coffee machine, grab some coffee, right? All these things are very very small, and maybe people will feel that they're very inconsequential, but trust me, they work brilliantly, because other person would also know that, oh, you are thinking, there's some thought that is put behind this, and instead of having longer meetings, you're making sure that you're ending your meeting 5 minutes early or starting 5 minutes late, to give
Mm.
them that personal
Mm.
space and time that they
Yeah,
can
yeah,
come
yeah.
back to life,
Correct,
and they can contribute more towards that
correct,
meeting.
correct, correct. Absolutely. So, in your opinion, for a corporate professional, what drains their energy?
Definitely. And I think when you're starting your career, right, I would say don't look at big packages, don't look at the fancy offices, right? What you need to look for is the environment, the learning that you get, and the guidance. Basis that, I think your career will definitely thrive. And the other thing is, I know we spoke about this, but there should be skill and will, right? So those two things are very very important. You should have the skills, but you should also have the will. For example, I love flying. I visit all these places, and I'm a av geek, so like to basically learn a lot about aircrafts and a lot of different things.
Mm.
Now on one of the games, Microsoft Flight Simulator, I can actually fly a plane, but can I fly an actual aeroplane? Answer is no. So even though I have a will, I
Yeah,
don't really possess the skill, right?
correct,
And
correct.
sometimes there is a skill, but I don't want to do that, and I want to get away from that. So
Mm.
make sure there is a proper convergence of the two. Your skill and will should match, and that will give you optimum results, because that is what you wanted to do. And you also have the skills, or it can be certifications that you do, the career trajectory that you choose, which will hand, I think you will definitely succeed.
Yeah. Lost you a bit. Which will? What did you say? Last
Skill, so skill and will.
will.
So
Yeah, correct.
yeah, so that
Right.
will,
Yeah.
yeah, that convergence is very very important, and that will definitely take you forward in your career.
Yeah, yeah. That's a beautiful thought to live with. Skill and will. Lovely, lovely. Yeah. I also see that corporate professionals are sometimes drained because they are not well, or there is illness, fatigue that they experience. Now, I mean, I have theories to it because it's body it shows much later. It starts with the mind, and they are connected. What's your thought on it?
So as I said, you need to unwind, you need to give
Yeah,
time to
yeah,
yourself.
yeah, yeah.
Sometimes mind is giving you all these cues. As I said,
Correct.
fumbling, right? My manager could pick that up.
Yes.
Similarly, you will have fatigue, you will have
Yeah,
lack
yeah.
of concentration, you will
Yes.
feel a lot of laziness, or
Yes.
there's generally I would say, people are not very keen to move around, or do different things, because they have some obstacle in their mind. So I think that is the mind's way of telling you to stop. And if you don't stop, then that will result into your body basically
Giving up.
suffering or
Yeah.
taking a hit for it. But
Yes.
mind will give you all these small, small cues
Yes.
which you
Yes.
really need to pick
Yes.
up.
Correct, correct. So we have to be not just listening to others deeply, but listening to ourselves first. There is this thing, no? You wear the mask first before you offer it to others.
Yeah.
So you have to listen to self deeply first, and that training helps you to listen to others deeply.
Yeah.
Very true, very true. Lovely, Saurabh. We've been in this conversation, and thank you for enlightening all of us on so many different dimensions. What could be one closing message that you would have for all the listeners?
It's a very tricky question because I can have multiple things that I can share, but I would just like to share two things. So if you're starting your career, right, uh, I think you should have a clear performance vision and you should discuss that with your bosses or leaders. So, where you are currently and where you want to be. And again, your performance should be backed by your goals and you should be more fungible. So, what do I mean by that is fungible means you are easily able to transfer from one say profile to another profile. You can do much more. So you are like a generalist, you can do multiple things, you are not really restricting yourself to one area, but be keen, be curious to know about what are the other things, what is, so once you pass on your data, what happens to that data and how the work is getting done. Be very very curious, ask questions, you will always get reply like, oh, this is how we always used to do it, or this is the company policy. But try to go deeper than that, try to ask a lot of questions. And if you are a manager, then you need to be a servant leader. uh, what do I mean by that is, as you have seen, right, all the big politicians, leaders of the world, they don't really go onto battlefield. No, they don't pick up gun and start fighting, right? What they do is they guide their teams, they guide their troops. So as a leader, you don't really pull the keyboard and start working yourself. You need to make sure that your team is capable to handle their own issues and their own problems. So you need to basically give them training as to how they can do it themselves, right? You are always there to help them clear any obstacles that they have, or you are always there to protect them. But when it comes to work, make sure that they are understanding and they are taking that effort to learn and solve their own problems. You will always be there for guidance, but make sure your team is doing enough to solve their own problems, because uh, that is, I think, the most sustainable model. And as we spoke about, you should be very empathetic and you should have active listening skills.
Right, right, right. Absolutely. So, we always say that the outer skills definitely keep acquiring, but the inner attitudes and what you said, the will, the deeper desire to make that happen is evolved over a period of time. And as you said, active listening, practices, taking time off, really knowing what's draining you and focusing attention on that will ensure that you be a newbie or you be a leader. I think you will just fly. Thank you, Saurabh. Thank you very much for your thoughts and inputs. And yeah, and I hope that all of you enjoy this episode with Saurabh, and we wait for the next few episodes to come and enlighten us. Thank you very much. Thank you for watching.
Thank you, Deepa, and I wish everybody a very successful and fulfilling career. Thank you.
Thank you.